What I've been wondering for some time now is how much the work we do to make the world a better place is counterproductive. Like, is creating another cause really what the world needs? Is trying to solve that problem? Because there's already probably dozens and thousands and hundreds of people, depending on how specific the cause you want to work on is. But it's something like poverty or climate change. Is trying to start out on your own doing it actually helpful? Or is it going up to other causes that are already there and be like, hey, let's work together. I got some ideas, you got some ideas. The problem with that is that you're so low ranking and you're most likely a nobody, right? For most people on the planet who'd like to help. They're not powerful enough, they're not wealthy enough, they're not connected enough to help. And this is, I think, one of the main reasons why there's a disconnect between making the world a better place and what people and how many people want to do it and what actually ends up happening. And this is not a unique observation. This is a very old observation. Now, what can be done there? If there's already loads of causes, loads of money, and influential people on pretty much every single cause, and yet very little unity or cooperation between the thousands of organizations and millions of volunteers on large things like promoting better care of the homeless, or of fighting poverty, or increasing wage growth in 100 plus countries, or working on the environment and cleaning up the environment or reducing pollution. All these have many moving parts. However, there are very few organizers between organizations. And because that's an inherently risky role, the main reason people don't want to do that, and why there is such a lack of it, is because you don't get funding for that, for cooperating. You get funding for doing your own thing. You do not get paid to cooperate with others. And if you do, it's short term, and there's usually like a dozen plus logos on every place card and every presentation, every PowerPoint slide, and every video. You know, everyone bragging about their role in the project and trying to get credit. There's very few people who are trying to unify organizations without credit or pay. And that's where the real difference can be made, is by being willing to take that risk, to be the ballsy one, to be the one to walk up to the different organizations and see who's willing to work together, with the different people collecting data are willing to pool their thing into a central database that is available to everyone and free to use, or by working with the presidents of different organizations, you know, like in South Asia, working on poverty. 2 million plus organizations working on poverty, and very, very, very few of them, less than like I would guess 1 or 2% of them, actually actively working together. That's the brilliance of being a nobody. That you are the only one who can really talk to somebody's, right? Because somebody's not going to talk to another somebody. They would risk their brand, their financing. If like CARE tries to work with Oxfam and they do a really good project together, and there's a very high chance that the donors will either can switch sides. Like major donors, one of their multi-million-dollar donors can see that project, like what the manager did on the Oxfam side, and decide to put more money into that next year. And now they've just lost their entire department's funding. You know, that's what they worry about. They also worry about credit and their professional careers, having to split it with somebody who 5 years later they might not get along with. And they might lose that ability, that credibility, those years of work will go to nothing because that connection's lost. Or because, you know, they're no longer seen relatively as being the more professional one, or as being, you know, the one who's a better fundraiser. These are all done by reputation. They have large reputational costs. If you're a nobody, you can pay that cost. You can pay it all day long because you got nothing to lose. And that's an incredibly powerful thing when it comes to helping a cause. The thing is, if you got a bit of time and a bit of patience and you're nobody, you're the one who's actually needed in the world right now. Because you can go knock on everyone's doors and you're not going to make an ass of yourself. You're just going to look like a nice person who's trying to make a difference. You're not. If a president of a large organization does that, they're like, oh, what are they doing? Are they going to come take our jobs? Are they going to like merge us into one big thing and then like a lot of us lose our jobs, or we're underlings of some new director, they'll be very concerned about that, and they'll have much more industry pushback. Whereas with you, if you're like doing it on a voluntary basis, in the beginning at least, you could end up getting paid very well for this if you actually do get people to work together. You can have a leadership position and a coalition of incredibly powerful organizations over time. And this is actually how a lot of coalitions, like for cancer research or these sorts of things, or Moms Against Drunk Driving and all these things, they do eventually give a few well-paid positions on something you truly care about.